Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this YouTube video entitled, What is the Great Slayer of Republics? That's republics throughout history. I'm Sanford, Kahn, business author, speaker. The great slayer of republics throughout history is simply this: debt. D-E-B-T. Debt. Very simply, debt. Namely, the carrying costs of that debt, which would be the interest rate burden of the debt. I like to quote from a person who studied republics throughout history. His name is Wendell Phillips. He was a 19th century jurist and historian. So I'd like to read. I don't usually like to read when I'm doing a video, but I want to get his quote correct. Debt is the fatal disease of republics. The first thing and the mightiest to undermine governments and corrupt the people. The people get corrupted because they want more and more things from government, freebies, for instance, and all that is financed by public debt, namely the interest burden on the debt is what undermines republics. That quote comes from this book. Put a little plug in for my book, A Rogue Meister's Guide to Free Thinking, on Amazon in both ebook and printed. And it has a lot of other information in there too. I'm not here to sell books. I just thought I'd mention that. There's two numbers you need to know about debt and the interest burden on the debt. Very simple. 10% and 15%. 10% and 15%. When the interest burden on the debt held by the public, the interest burden reaches 10% of the budget, the yellow light historically is flashing, going back centuries. When it reaches 15%, the red light is flashing, and the financial markets will stay attuned to that. The interest burden on the U.S. public debt has hit 10%. Just a few years ago, it was at 7.5%. And that's when interest rates were much lower than they are today, and the debt levels was also much lower. The interest expense on the public debt of the United States, for instance, in the 6 months of this fiscal year, this would be fiscal year 2023, the interest expense went up 41% compared to the 6 months of last fiscal year, which would be 2022. It's going up at an increasing rate, and it's called exponential. When it goes up like this, it's called exponential. It's not sustainable. It's simply not sustainable, and the can cannot be kicked down the road. It'll hit 15% within a very short time, a few years, because it's going up at an increasing rate. You're going to have to deal with this. If you don't, if history is any guide, our democratic republic will not stand. Now, when I was a kid in elementary school, I don't know if they do this anymore in elementary school, we used to sing patriotic songs. One of them was God Bless America. Beautiful song. And I hope God does bless America. But one thing God will not do. God will not save us from our own folly. We have to take action and save ourselves. That's through the political process. There's always hope. But you have to have politicians in office who recognize this danger now. And it's in your best interest. Because if you want our democracy, our democratic republic to stand, you're going to have to make changes. If not, it will not stand. Anyways, I don't like bringing bearer of bad news, but, it's something you need to know. Appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again. Stay well and stay liquid.